Hello everybody. In this particular video tutorial, I will show you how you can how you can utilize capture groups um, to actually map out multiple steps and point to the same step definition logic. In the Let's take a look at this particular example here. I have scenario 1 and scenario 2. They are very similar other than the actually amount that I'm depositing um, is different, and the amount I'm taking out is different, and my final verification for the deposited amount is different. So I have gone and created my step definition for basically in the account underscore steps file. So let's take a look at it. What I have currently. So I have currently the given step definition, which basically looks for the text, this particular text in the steps, and as soon as it matches, I'll be printing out the given here. And the same thing for the then condition, or then step definition. I will have this particular matching text, and then it will print out then. So if I go and do that, I will have one scenario will be passing and one is undefined, because in the second scenario in the same file I don't have any matching step definition files. So how can I change my step definitions here to accommodate both scenarios? One of the ways you can do that is use a capture group in your step definitions, and change the matching text um, to accommodate the variations in the steps. So again, what the values are changing is 400 or 400. We have this particular value changing, and then I have in the then step, I have this particular value is different. So one of the ways you can utilize capture group is surround the values. So here I'm supplying the capture group, changing the values to actual capture groups here. So I have three values that's coming in from the step definition, step actual cucumber test, acceptance test. So let's go back to our test now and see what it does. So I still have this scenario mapped out. I don't have this particular scenario mapped out yet. So let's go ahead and put. So once you define the capture group, then the second change would be to put the actual value here. So I will map out the either 400 or 350 matches, then execute that condition. So here either 5 or 10. So I have 5 here and 10, and then 395 and 340. So second step definition, I will go ahead and change to 395 or 340, then execute this particular line of code. Okay. So let's go back here and see what it does to our scenario mapping. So it looks like now both of our scenarios are mapped properly using the capture group. And if I run it at this point, I should see both passing. Now, one of the things is that you will get this error here. So let's take a look at the errors. What did we miss? So your block takes 0 arguments, but regular expression match 2 arguments in the first one, and then it says second one as well the same error. So what it's trying to say us here is we supply the capture group, but we don't have any matching argument with the capture groups. So you need to have, we have in this particular step definition, we have 2 capture groups. You must supply 2 different arguments so that you can do something about it in the code. Our ultimate goal is to have this value come in from the acceptance test as a test data, and then utilize that in the code. So, and when you utilize the capture groups, you must have the arguments. Arguments are nothing but the parameters or the data values that will flow to the actual code. Um, so let's go ahead and change our step definition here. So I will go ahead and supply two arguments, and you have to put the pipe symbol and say in the first capture group mentions that it is deposit amount, and the second capture group is about withdrawal. So I will say with W amount for withdrawal. So these are two arguments you need to have. So first argument will read this particular value, which or whatever value that comes in from the first capture group, and the W amount, withdraw amount, will map to this particular capture group. So same thing, I have to modify this second step as well, where I need to supply. Um, so let's go ahead and do that. Amount, let's just put the amount variable here. So now if you want to see what the values are flowing to our actual Ruby code, we can actually print out those values. So I can say P deposit amount, and I can put in another line W amount. So now we are printing out both variables or the arguments here. Let's go and change this one to P amount. Okay, so we will go back here again. Our definitions are mapped properly, and let's run this feature file again, see what it does. So now it seems like a happy scenario here, happy coding scenario. So we have $400 that we have coming in, and then we have doing the file, and then our results supposed to be 395. The same way it will execute the second scenario and print out the values again. So you have single step definitions, which is mapped to multiple scenarios and multiple steps. So that's a very powerful feature. But here we may run into problem in our example. What if I change the values here to 500 and take out 5, and if I change to 495? Now again, as you notice, this one is highlighted again. That means it does not have any map step definitions for the steps anymore, since we change the values. So how do we make it more flexible in our step definitions? So again, if you want to change it to any value, because these are pretty much numbers, you can utilize the actual regular expression at this point in your capture groups. And in order to do that, any value, I need to supply the regular expression. So slash d plus, and I'll go ahead and change slash d plus everywhere. So what it means is that I can send in any number, and I can in my test acceptance test. So I can change it to 600 here. I can change 5, and I can increase to 595. And again, same in the second scenario, I can reduce it down to 250, 10, and it should be 240. So now it does not matter what value you are supplying, as long as it's a number. Your step uh, will map to this particular step definition, as long as it matches the exact text. So if I add a third scenario here, and I put let's say put 2500 instead of and I take out 100, and I will have $2,400, and that should work just fine. So that's a powerful power of regular expression with your step definitions. It increases the reusability of your code, the Ruby code and Ruby step definition file. So if I run this here, and I'm expecting to pass everything at this point, I have 3 scenarios, 3 passed, and 6 steps, 6 passed. So, um, so that is all I wanted to cover in this particular tutorial. And let's go ahead and finish your exercise.